What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. We're going to get right into the stock charts, hopefully give you guys some trade ideas, point out the levels that I think are important, and we'll get right into it. What I'm going to ask is leave a comment below if there's any stocks or charts that you guys are watching that have trade setups. I'm seeing a lot of trade setups right now that haven't quite triggered yet, but they're right on the edge. And that's why I titled this video Stock Market Grind Session, because we're just grinding around. It feels like we're about to get a trigger event, and everything's set up to move down, and it feels like we're really close to getting that trigger to trigger entries or whatever you're looking for. But as of right now, we're just kind of grinding. It's kind of like the last breath of the bull rally is what it feels like. Whether that's what it is, who knows? But let's get right into it. And then also just right now, take a second, hit that thumbs up button. And I really appreciate it. It's helping my channel grow. I'll continue to put out, trade ideas and, just general market analysis. And you continue to give me thumbs up and encourage the channel. I appreciate it. We will help each other here. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to just jump into some of the interesting ones. XLV. All right, here's an hourly chart. Again, I use logarithmic scaling. So I think that's the smart scaling to use. And so go ahead and if you're trying to recreate these charts, make sure you're using logarithmic scaling. Whatever charting platform you're using, this is TradingView. Just Google how to do it. You'll be able to figure it out. And so bearish rising wedge right here. All right, just nice, clean. I mean, it's just this thing has just been coiled. I mean, this is a strong coil. We're just coiled pretty much to the end of this thing. I mean, it can't go much more, and that's why I feel like we're about to get a break, about to get some sort of trigger event. I think it's going to come in the form of a gap down, but again, it could come in the form of a gap up. These things don't have to break to the downside. There's a higher probability that they will. So again, stock trading is a lot like gambling or like playing blackjack and card counting. Essentially, when the deck is in your favor, you want to that's when you want to take your positions in, place larger bets, whatever. And then when the deck's not in your favor, you bet small or whatever. And so right now, this to me feels like the probability is set up to move down. When we get that sell signal, some sort of breaking candle, then that would be your trigger or your entry. And a lot of the time, the market doesn't like to give you that. It doesn't like to give you an objective entry. So the way they'll do that is rather than just this thing just crash intraday, they'll gap down overnight in the futures and not give you the good entry. But that's what this one's set up for. I think that's what's probably going to happen, but who knows. So we'll just continue to watch that and wait. It's just grinding. It's just kind of grinding higher. Yeah. Oil took a huge hit. Oil's just getting slaughtered. And oil's just, that's the thing. Oil is showing the demand, the demand for oil, the commodity. And the point is that there's just no demand right now. People aren't driving, factories aren't running. And so consumer spending's not there. So that's why I think the short side, especially like tech and things like that, just make a ton of sense, because regardless of how strong a company's fundamentals are, the consumer spending is not there. And 70% of the American economy is consumer spending. So it's not that hard to figure out. So oil, but oil's kind of set up in like a bullish rising wedge. This might have been the final flush out for oil. I was looking for oil prices to crash down one more time, and this probably is it. So, I don't know, but the thing is that we didn't get the sell-off in like ExxonMobil, XOM, or whatever. So, and this had a bearish rising wedge. So I'm looking for this to maybe sell off a little bit more. Really, what I'd like to see in this XOM is an undercut of the lows right here. If we can undercut these lows, making maybe another leg down, then I might be interested in this thing. So I'm not too interested in trading oil right now. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but I'm just not that interested in it. USO, it looks like it has recovered this trend line, but we only have a couple data points, couple reactions to make this wedge. So again, I'm just not really that interested in it. I'm just kind of watching it. If I was going to be interested, it's probably to the long side. But in order to see in order to be bullish on oil, I'd like to see the dollar falling, because the economy is not going to, I don't think the economy is going to help oil. So the only thing that maybe would help oil is a falling dollar. And so that's really the trade idea there. Let's go to the Qs. All right, so Qs, we broke the bullish rising wedge, and we've been just chopping sideways. So this is price action that I like to see. This is the price action that you'll often see before you get that gap down, overnight. So it basically just kind of fades sideways. You're in an upward, you have upward momentum, and then that momentum starts to fade, and then it fades sideways basically. And then overnight you get some bad news and you get a gap down. So that's what that looks like it wants to do. But again, this is why I call it the grind session, because look at that. We're just in this really tight range, just grinding around sideways, doing nothing. There's really no money to be made right now. The way you make your money in these kinds of markets is by taking positions for the next move, the move that's coming. Whether that's up or down, nobody knows. But you don't make money in the trading action of what you're seeing today. You make it in the next move. I mean, obviously there's always day trades and stuff, and you can day trade every day, but I'm talking about swing trades. Here's the futures. Same thing with the NASDAQ futures. Bearish rising wedge. We broke. Look at that. Back test. Chopping sideways. We could back test again. We could have a pop into the close, or even tomorrow. Maybe they pump the markets with some sort of fake news, positive news. That's what we've seen lately, is like Gilead news. Oh, they've got some medicine that maybe will work in a year and a half or whatever. I mean, okay, maybe they do, but that doesn't mean the economy is just going to do great. You have to go through the pain first. So maybe they pump that. We futures move up to here, do another back test, then roll over. Anything's possible when you're back testing. You can back test for a while, so nothing says that we're going to fail, but I think we probably are. I think we're going to sell off here. It just feels that way. And given all the charts that I see, look at this. Here's SPY just starting to break the bearish rising wedge on the hourly candle. You're just starting to break. So I think selling's coming. It's just a matter of when. Here's Apple. Apple is, has been rejected, keeps getting rejected off this major trend line right here. This goes back to the decade-long bull market of Apple, all the way back to 2009. I'll show it real quick. There's 2009. Okay, you held that support. This is a weekly chart here. And so when I zoom in, you've got, here it is right here. And look, you got right up there. You popped above, you broke below, you popped above, and then you rejected, tried to get there, couldn't quite get there. So a lower high. I mean, we're just micro focusing on this, but you've got a high, you had a lower high, now you have a lower low. So, this is trending down on the short term. We also have this gap right here, so probably going to get a gap fill. That's a pretty obvious target right there. So somewhere in the 273, 274 range. We'll probably get there maybe today or tomorrow. I don't know, but or something that would even be even better to the bearish side and a real money trap, I guess, would be a gap down below the bearish rising wedge right here. So if we gap down below here, okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had a call, kind of forgot where I was at. But the point is, my chart's here on Apple, so we'll just start right here. Apple is holding below the resistance and just kind of grinding sideways. So again, I think if there's a gap down below the support, that's a nice trap. Whether that happens, we'll have to wait and see. As of right now, it's kind of just the wait and see game, and that's kind of where that's at. Microsoft, bearish rising wedge, grinding higher. Everything's coiled to the point where it really shouldn't go much further, and these chart patterns need to make a decision now. They can gap down, they can gap up. Probably going to come in the form of some sort of an impulsive move, whether that's an impulsive move intraday and we just start to sell off hard or ramp up hard, or we get a gap down, which would be an impulsive move in the futures market in the overnight session. or gap up. So again, I think we're at the point now where we're going to get some sort of big move. I don't know when or where that comes, but it should happen soon, given these chart patterns. What else do we want to look at? Costco's kind of selling off. Not a lot, but I readjusted my trend line here. You've got this, you have a reaction here. This is an hourly chart reaction right here. I like to see the overshoot right there, but it's still closed right there. So that's a nice clean resistance line. And then we're selling off, and we broke this short-term uptrend range, broke that, did a little back test right here, starting to sell off. Not impulsively though, just kind of grinding around, same as the rest of the market. MGM here, bearish rising wedge, grinding sideways, starting to work its way lower, but again, just kind of grinding sideways. So it's just set up for an impulsive move one way or the other. Let's see, what else do we want to look at here that's interesting. All right, SBRA here. This is a healthcare REIT, real estate investment trust. Coiling, again, bearish rising wedge, just coiling higher. Everything's coiling. So this could break up to the upper end, could gap down. Again, the entire market kind of looks the same right now. This SBRA I think probably breaks down, and the reason why is we had this gap right here. We filled the gap, overshot it a little bit on these candles, this gap, but have since failed and have not held. We're down near the lower range. So if we get some sort of an impulsive break or a gap down, then that would be a failure of this pattern, and that's this pattern is a pattern that puts a probability to the downside. That's really all I got for this video. I'm just going to keep it short, keep it to the markets. We don't need to look at gold. Nothing major right now, but we'll just keep it to these markets. And again, I'll put out a video when or if we get that impulsive move one way or the other. So thanks, guys. Again, give me that thumbs up. Appreciate it. Catch you on the next video.